You'd be hard pressed to beat a country garden at this time of the year. Roses are in full bloom, the peonies are bursting from their buds, sweet peas in abundance, and the hollyhocks are ready to do their thing. And that's what's inspired this session for the virtual village hall this morning. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do some screen printing with some very familiar items. But if you do have screen printing equipment, then you can follow along with this as well. And by screen printing equipment, I mean a squeegee like this and a screen like this. But if you don't have either of those, then you can do this using, as I said, very familiar equipment, an embroidery hoop, a pair of tights, and a credit card as our squeegee. You need a couple of other bits. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop you down and we can get started. So as well as those items, we're going to need some acrylic paint or fabric paint. You can also use some screen printing medium, which helps to make your paints last longer so they don't dry out so quickly. You'll need various brushes, some fabric to print onto. Even if you're using acrylics, I would suggest using fabrics, and if you're not going to wash this, then that's absolutely fine. You'll need some tape, a pair of scissors, a pencil, and also a design to work from. So let's start by making up our screen. We're going to start with cutting up our tights. So what I need you to do is take your scissors and then just cut off the sort of the pants, what I call the pants part of the tights. So you'll end up with some little shorts. So that can be put to one side. And then cut off the feet. And then cut the legs in half. So I'm using light coloured tights because you want to be able to see through them, and also it's easier to sort of place it down, and also go for about 40 denier. You need a fairly thick tight, but not sort of too thick, don't go too thin. Then after you've done that, now your legs are in 4 pieces. We're going to cut down the side. Like so. And this is the piece that we're going to use, but we can do these ones as well. So I've got lots more to use. So the type of screen printing technique we're going to do today is called mono screen printing. So mono meaning one. Hang on, this one's a bit fiddly. Mono meaning one, so we get one unique print off of this. Although you can also get a second print, maybe a third even, which is called a ghost print. And this sort of screen printing lends itself really well to abstract sort of artwork, abstract pieces, which I quite like as well because it's quite forgiving. So if it goes a bit wrong, you can always say, well, it was meant to look like that, it's abstract. So this is a good one for you if you're sort of love your abstract art, or if this is your first sort of foray into printmaking. It's a nice no pressure printmaking technique. Okay, so we've got all of our tights pieces cut up, and as I say, we just need to use one of those, but you've got lots more to use. And after you have printed, you don't have to throw these away. These can be washed, dried, and you're ready to use again. So now we need to make up the screen. And I was sampling one earlier, so I'm just going to undo my screen so we're ready to go again. Ideally this is a two-person job, but if it's just you then it can be done on your own. Lay the tights, that one piece of those tights, flat onto the table and put the smaller of the rings, so that's the ring without the screw part, put that onto the tights and then bring the sides that are overlapping into the middle and hold them with your thumb and index finger. Then you want to take one of the other pieces, bring it to the middle, hold it with your free hand, bring the other side over, hold it in the middle, make sure they don't ping back. As I say, it can be a little bit tricky. If you've got someone there to help you, that's probably a good idea. And then with your free hand, put the larger ring now down on the table, place the smaller ring inside, and then just start screw. That's fine. I can catch that bit up in a minute. Start tightening the screw. Let's bring those in before it gets too tight. So if any did pop back out, you can just pull it over like so. Tighten the screw. That's really nice and tight. And then pull tight screw to make a base like a tambourine. So you want it really tight but without laddering it. There we go, that's getting tight. That is our very basic screen. Now I wouldn't suggest cutting these bits, although they can get a little bit in the way if you're not careful. Just fold them back. If you need to, you can put a little pin in place, and that will just keep them out of the way, because if you cut them off, sometimes they can ping back, and also it's very difficult to then put it onto the screen or the embroidery hoop again when you want to make another print. So just keep those out of the way like that. With our screen made, we're going to talk about designs. So I'm going to base my design on a card that I was given, these beautiful foxgloves. I don't want to go for a black background though. I'm going to keep it a nice and light background. And I can't really stress enough that this is it's going to be an abstract print of this. So I'm not looking for detail. I'm looking at shapes. I'm looking at colour. I'm looking at the negative spaces. So when you either come up with a design or you base it on a design, look for those sorts of features. And what I did, I just simplified that design, and this is the one that I'm going to use. And this is one of the prints that I made from it earlier. Okay, so transfer your design to your screen, and that's simply a case of put it over the design, and you can see now why I suggest using light coloured tights. And one thing I didn't say as well, just make sure your design isn't any bigger than your embroidery hoop and not too much bigger than the card that you're going to use. You can do a couple of sweeps of it or a couple of pulls, so don't worry too much about that, but definitely make sure that it's smaller than your embroidery hoop. And then just taking a pencil, draw your design. So while you're watching today, please do pop on the comments, say hi. It's always lovely to hear from you. Let us know where you're printing from. And if you've got any questions at all, please pop them on the comments. Although I can't see them at the moment as the way my screen is positioned, I will be able to look through afterwards, after the session, and go through them. So I'll be able to read any comments, answer any questions. And even if you're watching this on record, please do the same. I kind of tend to check back every few days. So yes, please ask any questions. So you can see that I can see my design, hopefully, through there. You can just see it. I could probably see it better than you can on the screen, but it's definitely there. And then I want to take just a piece of newspaper, just so that I don't, any paint that goes through doesn't end up on the table, it ends up on the paper. Put my screen on top, so position it where I want it, and then we're just going to use some parcel tape or masking tape just to tape a frame, because you need to contain the paint, because otherwise it will just end up in a bit of a splodge all the way around. Because of the nature of the tights, because they have got lycra in, so they are a little bit stretchy, stretchier than if you were using a proper screen, then some of the paint does sometimes go underneath, but I quite like that because it sort of adds to that natural effect. You can see some of it just spills out under, so I quite like that it's not sort of a real sort of right angle straight frame to it. Last one. I'm just going to redo this here. Yeah, no, don't cut corners. Just have to put that little bit back. There, that's better. Perfect. Okay, make sure that's as well down as it can be. And we're going to put that just briefly to one side while I mix up my paints. So if you're using screen printing medium, then you don't have to worry too much about a time pressure. So I'm not using one today, so I'm going to make sure I mix up all of my paint all ready to use straight away. And I quite like that I am on a bit of a time pressure with it, because it makes me make decisions from the gut rather than from my inner critic. So I just have to go with like a colour, or that I'm not sort of thinking and dilly-dallying. So it's quite nice. Maybe try it both ways. You might find that you enjoy just listening to your gut rather than thinking, oh, is this the right colour, isn't that? So it's a good way to go. Okay, so we're going to need quite a lot of white. I've already got enough pink there. Put that out. I just need a bit more blue. I think I might even add a little bit more white to that. Lovely. Yellow, I've got enough yellow there, and then I'm just going to add some more green. Excellent. And then I can start mixing my paints. Now, especially if you are working without any acrylic medium, I would have a paintbrush per colour, because it means that you don't have to, you're not wasting time washing your brush, drying your brush out. So you can just go straight in. So let's mix up my pink first. So you could have the design by your side. Oh, didn't really want a bit of yellow in there, but that's fine. That's in there now. So as I said, I'm not really looking at detail. I'm just looking at colour and shape. So I'm going to mix up 3 different shades of pink. So I want very light, I want a medium, and then I've got the dark pink as well, which I'm pretty much going to leave as it is, maybe take it down just slightly. Okay, so that's that colour done. Let's move that out of the way. Onto my green. So I want quite a lot of yellow in this green. And just a little tip when you're mixing colours, always mix dark into light. That will save you a lot of wasted paint, because it's much easier to add darker than add lighter. You need a lot less of it. I just want to bring that down a bit because it's a bit too vibrant, and I might just put just a little bit pink in, and that's going to turn it more kind of leafy. Okay, so I'm going to mix up a couple more greens. So let's have a lighter green. And then I want to go for a darker green. I'm going to add again, I'll just actually put a bit more pink on. I do actually need to add some more yellow into that. So I'm just going against everything I said. That's fine, that's just brought that down. It's not quite so blue now. Lovely. Then the other colour that I want is the background colour. And as I said, I don't want to do it this black. I want to stick with a sort of a sky colour. So I just need lots and lots of white. I can just mix that green in, that doesn't matter. And I want just the tiniest bit of blue, because the fabric I'm printing onto is slightly cream. It will really show up, the white will really show up. And also it's very in line with all the mornings that we've had recently. I don't know where you are in the country, but just every single morning you wake up and it's just a white sky, and then it's only to the afternoon it gets a bit sunnier. Okay, all our colours are mixed up. I've also got a couple of other brushes, bring that one, a couple of brushes handy for any sort of smaller bits. Okay, let's start. Hold those in my hand. Side. Make sure you can see that. Okay, let's start with the green. Again, if you need to have your colour inspiration your design next to you. You see where those colours need to go. Now, when you're painting onto the screen, I want you to paint with confidence, even if that feels quite sort of unusual to you. Give it a go, and you're not painting through the screen, you're just laying the paint on top, because the squeegee or our credit card is going to do all the hard work and push the paint through for you, and you need quite a lot of paint as well. So don't dab dab dab, just lay it on nice and thick. So I'm just working with these different greens. So that when I print, you'll get a colour merging. And let's go over to a thicker brush now. Actually, I've still got the dark on that, so let's just wash that off slightly. Add some of the dark, which will give it its own sort of detail as we print. And then go back. I could actually do with a stiffer brush than this. That's okay, I can still just lay the paint on. Right, just make sure it's not drying, that's good. Now I'm going to add the pink, so I'm going to start with the light pink. Actually, I'll go a little bit medium as well at the top. And I'm still not dabbing, I'm placing it on quite thickly and quickly. Now I'm just going to add some of that darker pink. Oh, again, I keep getting that yellow in there. Okay, let's just carry on. Now, if I was to pull the print like this without adding any background, then all the colours would just merge and you wouldn't end up with even any detail at all. It would look more like a splodge than an abstract flower. So that's why I need to then fill the background with that white that I made. Or you can use any colour, or if you don't want the colour at all, then you can use just printing medium, screen printing medium, straight from the tub. But I want a blue-white background, so I'm going to start fairly thickly painting this on. And the thing to remember with this as well is that where a colour meets a colour, there will be a differentiation. I can't say the word. It will be clear. There will be a contrast. So, for example, it's important that I put white just in between here if I want that negative space to show up. Excuse me. Okay, so I don't want to take too much longer on this, because I can see that some of this paint is just starting to go off, just dry slightly. To take a brush. And then just while I'm finishing off, I just want to let you know about Print Club, which is a monthly online workshop that I run. It's totally free to Print Club members. You just need to sign up with an email address. And this is the sort of thing we do. We do various different print techniques throughout the year, focusing in on techniques that are going to be quite easy for you to do at home with sort of either very inexpensive items or craft items that you might already have. So to become a Print Club member, just go to my website, iprintedthat.com, join Print Club, and you'll get all the details sent to you. You'll be able to join in every month on a different print technique. Okay, again, I need a stiffer brush really, but I'm going to use what I've got. Last bit. And we are ready to pull the print. your credit card, that's your squeegee. With one hand, hold onto the screen so that it doesn't move, and with the other hand you're going to print. You want to keep the card just off of a right angle, so don't let it lay too flat, don't let it lay too upright, just at a nice sort of 45-degree angle, just over, and then you're going to push quite hard but not so much that the tights really move around. And you're going to pull the print all the way down, and I'm just going to do it this side as well. Either. And then hold the fabric down, lift the screen up, and there you have your summer garden print. Now, as I said, you can do a secondary print off of these. I haven't got a spare piece of fabric. That's I have. Oops. So my secondary print, called my ghost print, I can use what was on the squeegee. And again, this is more just for fun, really, just to see what happens. So I've just done a few pulls of that. I've just done a few passes because I wanted to make sure the whole screen was filled. And there you go. There's another print. Sometimes I must admit I do prefer the ghost prints to the actual prints, you know, but you've still got those lovely colours. There you go. There's a few to choose from. Yeah, so I'm pleased with that. So as I said, you don't have to throw those tights away. Just take them off the embroidery hoop, give it a wash just in warm water before it dries, and then dry the tights out and you'll be able to use them again and again. So how did it go for you? Please do let me know in the comments. We always love to hear from you and see your photos on the virtual village hall, so please do remember to tag us in when you're posting. Has that inspired you? Have you got a beautiful cottage garden, or is there one near you, maybe some country house that you can go and explore, take some photos and then use those to make some stunning prints? Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure to share with you how to mono screen print, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye.